Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday. We got some gaming news to talk about, so let's get right into it. For your convenience, I do have timestamps marked down below in the description as well in the comments, so you can skim around and just watch whatever segments you're most interested in. If this is your first time, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscription button, click that like, and let's go ahead and begin. So our first piece of news is some interesting Nintendo Switch rumors. Now, this, take it with a grain of salt, is kind of a leak according to somebody that is actually pretty reliable when it comes to rumors and leaks and speculation when it comes to Nintendo Switch rumors, and that's that the Nintendo Switch itself could be getting a price drop very soon. Now, Switch really hasn't had a price drop since 2017, I believe. It's been quite a while. With the Switch OLED coming out, maybe the base model Nintendo Switch could be getting a price drop. I don't know. Let's get right into this article right here. So this says Nintendo Switch price could drop by $70 next week, according to a retail leaker. So here we go. A Nintendo Switch price drop could be announced next week. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. This is all speculation. You know what I mean? But that's the fun of it. The fun is looking at these rumors and stuff and seeing what happens. If a price drop happens, that's going to be pretty big, I would say, in my book. I think that would definitely go a long way with sales of the Switch, especially since they're breaking records already. But this says in a recent tweet, French Nintendo site Nintendo Alerts stated that the Nintendo Switch console set to drop from Monday and sell around 270, and I believe that is, I can't tell, pounds, euros. I don't know the number denomination, but the point is that it's going to have a $70 price drop. So that equates to around $70, which in theory could see prices plummet to $229 or just around 200 pounds in the US and UK respectively. It's also possible, however, that Nintendo is aiming to bring the cost of the Switch in Europe closer in line with other regions. So maybe they just want to have it a little bit, I guess, more equal, I guess, as far as like the retail price goes. I don't know. Either way, a price drop's a nice price drop. This is mostly focused for Europe or the United Kingdom, but I am willing to speculate that in the US we might see one as well with the OLED Switch coming out. So yeah, it says in the 4 years since Nintendo Switch's original release, there has not been an official price drop, although the smaller all-digital Switch Lite model does cost less than the base edition. With the Nintendo Switch OLED, with its larger OLED screen, launching on October 8th at a price point of $349, Nintendo could be looking to make the original a slightly more attractive alternative with a worldwide adjustment. Not that it necessarily needs one, because as of May 2021, the Switch became the 8th best-selling console ever, surpassing the Xbox 360 as it toppled 84.6 million units sold. 84.6 million units. So I think they're going to eventually hit the 100 million goal that a lot of people have been predicting. Again, the Switch OLED is coming out. I feel Nintendo should definitely consider doing a price drop, at least for the original base model, the launch model of the Nintendo Switch. Since the new OLED upgrade has a better screen and things like that. I'm still kind of disappointed in the OLED update. To me, I'm not getting it because I feel that it's not enough of incentive for me. I don't care about new screens on the actual Switch tablet itself because I don't play on the go too often. But I think right now would be a perfect time for Switch to at least lower the price of the older model until those are all gone out of retail, and boost that numbers up. I think Nintendo will hit really close to 100 million units sold by the end of this year. We got 4 months left. The Switches still sound like hotcakes. Especially with this last year where people were locked in at home and stuff. The Switch was a perfect console for it. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, how accurate this rumor could be of this supposed price drop. According to this, it's a reliable retail leaker that has discussed it, has talked about it. So we'll see what happens. If you don't have a Switch yet, and you kind of weren't sold on the OLED model, I think a regular standard Switch is more than enough, especially if you get another $70 drop from it. So we'll see what happens. Now, continuing on, we got some Xbox news. This is a game that was actually shown off not too long ago, but Xbox and Arkane's Redfall has leaked via development screenshots. So we got a leak here. Now, this is work in progress gameplay. Hint at gameplay features planned for the co-op shooter. Now, this actually was shown in a showcase not too long ago. It seemed kind of wacky. Last I recall, it was like a vampire zombie apocalypse type of game. It seemed kind of interesting to look at in the trailer. It was kind of like, it kind of gave me like a little bit of a Fortnite vibe. So this says the early development images have leaked. The images, which originated on Reddit and were being actively circulated on social media on Saturday, are likely not indicative of the visual quality of the final game, of the final game, but they do hint at the kind of gameplay the co-op shooter could contain. So this was announced in June. You can see Redfall can be played either solo or in co-op with up to 4 players, and has players taking on a legion of vampires that have taken over the once quaint island town of Redfall. Honestly, the trailer was kind of wacky, to be honest. I remember seeing it, the teaser trailer that was posted and stuff. It caught me off guard because it just seemed like it was a quirky little game, and I think this one might be a sleeper hit. So this says the game has players choosing between 4 characters: the telekinetic Layla, the ex-military sharpshooter Jacob, paranormal investigator Devender, and Remy, who has her own robotic companion. So the leaked development images appear to suggest that Redfall will have an open world map with missions and loot shooter elements featuring a skill tree and different ranks of weaponry. It also appears that the game will be playable in either third or first person views. So there you go. If you're not a third person player and you prefer first person, there it goes. Now this goes on to confirm Redfall will be available on Xbox Game Pass for Series X and S and PC on the day it launches, summer 2022. So we have a little bit of time before this comes out. Now you can see some of these people are reacting to the leaks. This one has, the laughing, crying, and puking. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of these leaked photos. It seems kind of standard when it comes to FPS or a third-party game. It really doesn't look like any different. I think the main complaint that people are having is that the graphics might not be what they wanted to look at, but in my opinion, I always thought the graphics were going to look cartoony anyway. Somebody in this thread on Twitter says that this might be alpha footage, so to not fret about it. You can see alpha footage. Maybe you should go look at Gran Turismo from that showcase looking like a PS3 game. And then here comes Horizon Zero Dawn around the same state. So you got to remember, guys, footage changes over time. Take a look again. Look like similar screenshots. Kind of browsing through. I, for one, am going to check this game out, especially since it is going to be on Game Pass. I think it might be fun for the multiplayer co-op aspect. You never know, right? So I'm definitely am going to check it out. But very interesting that we got some development leaks out there. This goes on to say that Bethesda Senior Content Manager Ann Lewis said of the game in June, "In signature Arkane style, you will choose your path across the island and through the vampire masses as you discover what caused this plague of bloodsuckers, then put an end to the threat. When the vampires took over, they blocked out the sun, pushed back the tides, and effectively walled off the island from the rest of society, trapping everyone." Very interesting premise here. I'm going to definitely check the game out. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts of Redfall down below. Now, we're going to talk about a game franchise that I am a big fan of, but it's been getting ridiculed just because people aren't too happy with Rockstar at the moment. They want GTA 6 news. They want a GTA 6 release date, drop, anything about GTA 6 being confirmed. It's going to happen eventually, guys. I get the frustration. GTA 5 is getting another port. This is like the third console generation. and people aren't happy about it. In fact, this article says GTA 5, PS5, and Xbox Series trailers are being downvote bombed. So people are massively disliking the trailers for the GTA 5 next gen, the GTA 5 enhanced port. So fans are downvoting and commenting furiously on the Grand Theft Auto 5 expanded and enhanced trailer for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So GTA 5 is back again, but fans do not seem all too pleased. Rockstar released a trailer for GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced recently, along with the release date for the game on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. The updated version of the game that first released 8 years ago now has a launch window of March 2022 for the newest consoles. However, fans are frustrated with GTA 5 and are downvote bombing the official trailer that released yesterday. It's mostly because people want GTA 6 news. People are tired of Rockstar kind of milking the GTA 5 / GTA Online, cow teats. It makes tons of money, guys. In a small way, you can't blame them for not dropping GTA Online, focusing on a new game. But at the same time, Warzone is sticking through different Call of Duty games. I could see them, maybe they should keep GTA Online as a online service and update it while you add new GTA games. That's food for thought. 8 years for a new GTA game does seem like quite some time, to be honest. But while people are paying money and spending it, Rockstar is going to take the approach of not having to do anything else, which I'm not saying is right or fair. Now, GTA 5 is one of the highest rated games of the decade, and it originally released in September of 2013 on the 360 and PS3. The next year in 2014, there was a PS4 and Xbox One version, along with a PC version in 2015. Since then, Rockstar has continued to support GTA Online across nearly a decade, even through the release of Red Dead 2. And now the same game is about to release on a third generation with the PS5 and Series XS. Much to the annoyance of some enthusiasts of the series. So a lot of people are kind of annoyed. At the time of this article, the writing of this article, the PlayStation YouTube upload of the expanded and enhanced trailer has 16,000 likes and 39,000 dislikes. Wow. While the Rockstar upload on YouTube has 25,000 likes and 40,000 dislikes. People are upset. The comments are flooded with fans who are disappointed, both with the trailer and with the game itself. The features do not seem to be too much of an upgrade over the PS4 and Xbox One versions, but also fans appear to be frustrated that Rockstar is nickel and diming GTA 5 by re-releasing the game yet again. And that is all fair, honestly. That is all beyond fair. Now, commenters are saying that they do not want to be welcomed back to Los Santos yet again. They're accusing Rockstar of being greedy, out of touch, and reminding it that the game is simply outdated. And I honestly, that's fair. There's times where I'm playing GTA Online from last gen, but I'm using my PS5 to play it. And you can definitely tell, it seems a little outdated, especially some of the graphics and things like that. And looking at the GTA enhanced and expanded trailer, there definitely doesn't seem to be much of a graphical upgrade aside from maybe like a faster frame rate. And to my knowledge, to the most of my knowledge, it seems like all that we're really getting added to it is a lot of the online weapons and cars and stuff like that, cosmetics, are being added to single player. So why couldn't they just do an update, a patch where they just moved it over to single player mode? It's simple. At the end of the day, Rockstar wants their money. They know people are going to buy it. Now, even though these dislikes are currently outweighing the likes, in the long run, they're going to make their money off of it. That's the unfortunate truth. Do I support it? It's a double-edged sword because I am going to get GTA enhanced and expanded, but I am concerned why it's taking so long to port it over. It's going to be March 2022. It's quite a ways away. and we have no sign of GTA 6 at all. Then we have the rumors of the remastered trilogy of, I believe, San Andreas and Vice City and GTA 3 coming out, reportedly being made as well. Of course, they're going to milk, as many ports of GTA 5 as they can with the amount of money that it's making. But they are pissing off a huge, significant amount of their fan base. And I don't know. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Hopefully Rockstar is taking note on what's going on with that. But let's continue the article. Tuning on, it does say it's hard to believe that a single game has lasted through 3 generations of video game consoles. Now, let's not ignore that Skyrim has done the same fucking thing, by the way. I'm surprised there's not a next-gen Skyrim port. Other than a title that is more defined as a singular entity like a Minecraft-style game, there are few that would be expected to last this long. While it's not unreasonable to re-release a popular game for players to enjoy on multiple platforms, fans expect to have had other games released within that series in the meantime. So the PS5 and Xbox Series XS versions of GTA 5 would need to be a significant upgrade over the 4 and Xbox One versions to make it worth for many. But even beyond that, people are simply ready for the next big thing. So that is honestly the truth. People want the next GTA. How long is it going to take Rockstar to do that? Honestly, who knows? Who knows? Probably, I would say we'll hear something next E3. I would most likely say. Once we get this GTA 5 enhanced and expanded port out of the way, I think we'll hear something. But even then, that might be another 2 years to the release date of GTA 6. It's going to be a launch title on the PlayStation 6, right? Now, speaking of ports, there's one game that I do want ported over. I know one big, huge criticism that people get of the Nintendo Switch is all these Wii U ports that have come over, like Pikmin 3 and Mario Deluxe and, all those different games. People are like, okay, enough with the Wii U ports. Unfortunately, the Wii U didn't sell that great. And a lot of these huge first-party games just didn't get played or didn't sell that well. And it's a travesty. I was a very huge advocate of the Wii U. I was one of the very few people I knew out of all my buddies covering the Wii U. Then when the Switch got popular, everybody jumped back on the Nintendo bandwagon. But we won't get on that subject. But there's still one more port that I want. There's 2. There's Xenoblade, but this other one, because I'm a fan of this franchise, and that's Star Fox. And interesting article right here by Platinum. Statement by Platinum. Platinum wants to bring Star Fox Zero to Switch, and I want this because I liked Star Fox Zero, but I did not like the controls. I did not like how I had to use the Wii U tablet in order to play the game. It just didn't work well with me. I would like an updated port of it with new control schemes. So, Platinum Games has said it's open to bring in the Wii U title Star Fox Zero to Switch. Released in 2016 for Wii U, Star Fox Zero was co-developed by Platinum and Nintendo's own EPD team, with Mario designer Shigeru Miyamoto overseeing the project. 5 years after its original release, Zero remains one of the only major Wii U titles yet to be ported over to Nintendo's latest console. As one of the more divisive Nintendo releases of recent years, it can also benefit more than most from a remaster. And again, I think the main concern is the control scheme is what it could definitely benefit from. So continuing on, this says, speaking to VGC this week, Platinum Studio head Atsushi Inaba said that if Nintendo was interested, the developer would definitely be interested in considering a new version of Zero. However, any potential changes would be up to Mr. Miyamoto. So you have the problem of, Miyamoto is a god. He's my icon. But he definitely sometimes has messed things up a little bit with decisions that he has. So asked if Platinum would be interested in a Star Fox port of Switch port of Star Fox Zero, Inaba said it's not cool that people aren't able to play older games because they're locked out of the platform. So of course, if anything was possible, we'd like to bring any of those older titles to newer platforms. It kind of depends on what's in the realm of actual possibility, but yeah, if the chance came up, it's definitely something we'd like to think about. Most of the criticism of Zero is targeted at its complicated control scheme, which had players dividing their attention between the TV and the gamepad. A potential Switch port, which would need to work in portable mode on a single screen, would presumably remove this controversial element. However, Inaba stressed that all design decisions would need to be led by Nintendo, because let's be honest, Miyamoto is always going to have his finger in Star Fox, no matter what. The most important thing to remember there is that because of its Nintendo's IP, the ideas are coming from Miyamoto-san himself. We have to respect what Miyamoto-san wants to do. So, of course, they're not going to let Platinum overall change any kind of gameplay mechanics without their approval, unfortunately. Now, he says, of course, at the time, there was a lot of discussion between Platinum and Nintendo, but if the opportunity came up to bring Star Fox Zero to the Switch again, it would be more of a question of what he would like to do in that opportunity, and of course, we would respect that again. Asked if giving feedback to someone as prestigious as Mr. Miyamoto was difficult, Inaba said Mr. Hashimoto was working on Star Fox as director at the time, but he's no longer with Platinum Games. He was probably the one who had the most trouble taking the ideas to Mr. Miyamoto, because aside from how he is personally, he's a giant in the industry and somebody who a lot of creators look up to. So it takes a lot of courage or anyone to go to him with ideas or feedback. So people are just intimidated by Mr. Miyamoto to suggest ideas and stuff, which I think that's kind of a bad curse on Nintendo's blessing. I think a lot of young developers need to give their feedback, need to give their criticisms, give their advice, because if Miyamoto's not listening to it, or if people are scared to listen to it, all you have is a bunch of yes men that could be holding back ideas in regards to Nintendo growing as a company. But I personally wouldn't be opposed to Star Fox Zero getting a port. Honestly, I think they would definitely sell a lot of units. For example, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was a port to the Switch, and it sold over 37 million units since it's launched, and it's Switch's best-selling game to date, actually. And on top of that, Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad, Bayonetta 2, Hyrule Warriors, Xenoblade Chronicles, Super Mario 3D World, Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101 have all been ported to the Switch and have all done decent as far as sales numbers go. I think it's a win-win situation. Nintendo would be making money on it, but maybe Miyamoto is the one holding it back. Well, let's continue. Speaking of Platinum, let's read another article about Platinum, and this is regard to a game that I've been wanting more information about. This was announced almost like 3 years ago. Bayonetta 3. So Platinum says it's proud of Bayonetta and wants to show it, but it's been radio silent in regards to Bayonetta 3. So Platinum Games has provided an update on Bayonetta 3 development as the wait continues for a public reveal, and told fans there's no need to worry. I personally think, come on, man, shit or get off the pot. What's taking so long? What's the problem? What's the issue with this? It's been radio silent. So Nintendo published action sequel was first announced via a brief teaser at the Game Awards in December 2017. So December 2017. It's been almost 4 years. 3 years, 4 years. Come on. Nothing has been seen of it since. Earlier this year, series creator Hideki Kamiya appeared to tease a reveal from the game sometime this year, but with 3 months of 2021 now remaining, he remained coy when asked by VGC this week about a potential showing before Christmas. So he goes on to say, it was more of a not definitely something will come out this year, but if there is a year, then something should happen, right? So that's kind of a weird quote. If you remember last time, I said that even though everyone was asking about Bayonetta 3, maybe you should tell everyone to forget about it for a while. I kind of need to keep to that stance for now because ultimately it's not our decision what to say and when to say it. For some reason, it's just being held silent. It's being held hostage. Now, Platinum Games studio head Atsushi Inaba, and he said, there's no need to worry. Don't worry about it at this time. Everything's okay. With nearly 4 years having passed since Bayonetta 3's 2017 announcement, Nintendo is forced to insist in June that the game is still in development and making good progress. So I get it, taking your time on a game, making sure it's good and stuff, but we need some kind of update, right? So Kamaya told VJC that the game's development team is as eager as its fans to show Bayonetta 3 publicly, but stressed that the decision's up to publisher Nintendo. As much as everyone is clamoring to see it, we are really, really waiting to release it too. Everyone who's working on the project is, of course, very proud of what we're doing and wants everyone to see what we're doing. As much as fans are waiting for it, we are waiting for the day when we can show it. We want everyone to cheer us on as we run to the final stretch. We want to show it too. So, I'm eager to see Bayonetta 3. I want it out. It was one of the major titles that was revealed. I'm like, okay, that's it. That's going to be a winner right there. That's going to win over a lot of the weebs. And it's just been silent. The silence is weird. Kind of like with Metroid Prime 4 silence and a couple other games. There's just some of those Switch games that were announced a while back that for whatever reason, there's just a weird, awkward amount of silence. Now, let's continue on. This is an upcoming game, Far Cry 6, which I'm looking forward to checking out. According to this, there's a little bit of some information about post-launch plans with Far Cry 6 and DLC and things like that. According to this article, Far Cry 6's post-launch plans include Stranger Things, which Stranger Things, Rambo, and Danny Trejo crossovers. Stranger Things and Rambo have already been in both Dead by Daylight and Warzone. Seems like these licenses, the people who own the rights to those are just licensing them out to everybody. But it'd be interesting to see how they are in Far Cry. So just under a month ago, before the release of Far Cry 6, Ubisoft has laid out all of its post-launch DLC plans for the decade-old Far Cry series. So ahead of Far Cry 6's release on October 7th, which I'm excited to check that out, they have released post-launch roadmap. So the post-launch trailer by Ubisoft Games gives insightful information about the free updates, which will be available to all players, and of course the paid season pass DLC. The villain-focused DLC in Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon will be the paid DLC behind the season pass. So there's going to be free DLC and season pass DLC. The most exciting part of the trailer is not about the season pass, but rather the 3 big crossovers which every player is looking forward to. The first crossover is with Danny Trejo in the Danny and Danny versus Everybody. The second crossover is with Rambo and Rambo All the Blood mission. And finally, a Stranger Things crossover, The Vanishing, concludes the roadmap till March 2022. The free content will include 6 special operations with Mezozoko and Masio available at launch, with 4 others releasing at later dates. So players will get access to the rest of post-launch roadmap, which includes 3 DLCs as well as a copy of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, by purchasing a season pass of Far Cry 6. So you get 3 DLCs and Far Cry 3 by purchasing it. Here's the roadmap. It'll load. Okay, so for some reason that image ain't loading, but you can see every week there's missions, new special operations, new crossover missions. Then we got some DLCs listed right here. According to Ubisoft, the episodes will have players fight to escape the horrors of your own mind using a mix of Far Cry gunplay and roguelike elements. The episodes can be played solo or in co-op with a friend, even if they don't own the season pass themselves. So that's co-op available with that. So the season pass comes included with gold, ultimate, and collector editions of the game. So I'm definitely interested to check out Far Cry 6. This will be my first time sinking the teeth religiously into a Far Cry game. I've heard so many good things about it. My buddy 16-bit Pete put over the Far Cry series. Huge to me. I just never played them. There's a lot of these new franchises coming out now that I'm knee deep in the PlayStation and Xbox consoles. I'm going to be checking them out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, here's a interesting tidbit from more of my retro gamers out there that like to collect these analog products. There's some news. The Analog Pocket has been delayed. Yep, unfortunately. I know some of you guys got your pre-orders in on this. A lot of you guys are seriously waiting for this this product to come out, and some of y'all live and die by the analog products. But they put out a statement. The analog Pocket delayed to December 2021. So Pocket pre-orders will be shipping at the latest in December. Unfortunately, due to new COVID restrictions with our assembly partners, their capacity to deliver within our agreed timeline has been affected. This has created a domino effect of delays beyond our control in what would otherwise be a seamless process. So this just COVID strikes again, guys, unfortunately. And they're not the only company that suffered from it. We got chip shortages left and right, and other issues. But continuing on, this says Pocket will have some hands-on features and reviews coming before it ships. After the holiday season, Pocket and all accessories will be restocked and shipping immediately. We understand how frustrating this is. It's very frustrating for us too. We're excited to get these amazing devices in your hands as soon as possible. An email is being sent to everyone who pre-ordered Pocket. Thank you for understanding, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, just a tidbit. I'm sure everybody that has pre-ordered a Pocket already that's watching this, you're well aware of it. But we have another issue, another one bites the dust with COVID causing delays. In Television Amico faced another delay, unfortunately, because of COVID. We had some games in the past year or so get delays because of COVID, and who knows how long this is going to last. That's unfortunate. Now we got another couple articles here. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5. Recently we touched on some changes that they made to their console. They made a smaller heatsink, and there was a whole uproar over Austin Evans and a few other people with the temperature of the PlayStation 5. For me, I have the original launch model of the PS5, so this doesn't really affect me, but this is something that is still interesting to take a look at and read. So let's go ahead and take a look. So this is an update kind of on the rumors and speculation of the smaller heatsink. So further testing shows new PS5 smaller, lighter heatsink keeps consoles cooler. So this is the opposite of one of the articles I reported in the past. So this is new testing. So last month, Sony began shipping a lightly revised version of its PlayStation 5 console with a smaller, lighter heatsink and a handful of other tweaks. An earlier teardown and analysis of the revised PS5 made headlines because it suggested that the new PS5 ran warmer than the old one. So we touched on this. This is all based on the temperature of the air being exhausted from the console. It does make some intuitive sense if you assume that a smaller heatsink will automatically be worse at dissipating heat. But more detailed and precise testing from YouTubers at Hardware Busters International, so this is a YouTube channel, backs up our skepticism of that claim, showing that the PS5 exhaust air is warmer because the new cooling system is doing a better job of removing heat from the console. So that makes sense. The hot air comes out because it's not staying in. So in theory, if your console's putting out a lot of hot air, that means it's getting rid of it. It's venting properly. I've heard that from techs before. So according to this, the Hardware Busters testing measured the temperature of the APU, memory, voltage regulator modules, and exhaust air, while Devil May Cry 5 was running on both PS5 models. The exhaust air is indeed a few degrees warmer in the new PS5 than the old one, but on average, the new PS5's APU ran about 11 degrees Celsius cooler, dropping from about 51 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So there you have it. That was their thing right there. So the memory in VRM temperatures in the new PS5 rise a bit. The memory temperature goes up by around 7 degrees Celsius, and the VRM temperature goes up around 1.3 degrees Celsius. But neither increase should have a huge impact on the console's reliability or longevity. The much larger drop in APU temperature is worth the trade-off. And I'm not a big techie. I'm very casual when it comes to this. This is interesting testing that's shown. I'm sure a lot more other people are testing and finding various results. I guess it all just depends on your setup and what exactly game you're running, if it's more hardware demanding or not, or I don't know. There's a lot of variables, I feel. Now, this goes on to continue. These results only compare a single old PS5 to a single new one, and the numbers might look different with a larger sample size. So maybe if you test with more than just an old and new PS5, you might find different results. But they should at least convince you that the newer, lighter PS5 smaller heatsink is not automatically going to result in a hotter, louder, more failure-prone console. The new PS5's model number is CFI 1102A, while the original is a CFI 1000. Look for these numbers if you want to make sure to get the new revision. So if you want to go ahead and check out the Hardware Busters on YouTube, you can watch a, I guess, further in-depth video of their findings and their research and stuff. That's, to me, I think it's not going to be that bad of a deal. I remember before the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 came out on launch, there was a lot of people saying that these things were going to be too hot to touch, that these consoles were very hot. I think some YouTuber said that it burned them. It wasn't as bad as people were putting out there. So just kind of, I guess, don't take the fear-mongering too much. Different tests are going to be different. Now, here's an interesting PlayStation 5 article. This is sales in Japan for the PlayStation 5. I'm not sure what the global sales are, but PlayStation 5 is killing it in Japan. This is a translated article, so me reading it might kind of seem broken a little bit. This is translating from Japanese, but this says PlayStation 5 cumulative domestic sales exceed 1 million units. So Famitsu, a comprehensive game information media company, announced that Sony Interactive Entertainment has released an estimated cumulative domestic sales of PS5 on November 12, 2020, which has exceeded 1 million units. So this is a period from November 12, 2020 to September 5th, 2021. So 43 weeks since November of last year. So the cumulative sales are estimated to be 1,012,656 units. Out of that breakdown, 847,421 are the PS5 with the disc, and 165,235 of that is the digital edition. So they have sold more than 1 million units in Japan in 43 weeks, so about 10 months, almost a year. That's actually pretty good. In addition, among the packaged software for the PS5, Resident Evil Village sold 67,000, which is the highest cumulative sales. So wow, Resident Evil Village killing it in Japan. The hardware has been difficult to obtain due to lottery sales from its release to the present. The release of popular titles such as Final Fantasy has also been announced, and is expected that supply will increase and sales volume will increase in the future. So Japan is selling like hotcakes as far as the PlayStation 5 goes. Good on them. I'm very impressed with the Resident Evil Village sales out there. And of course, the upcoming Final Fantasy game that's been announced, gonna do big over there. Now we got one final article, guys. This is a big, huge game-chasing development. Game-changing, not game-chasing. Development in the world of mobile gaming, and maybe just gaming in the future. So Epic and Apple have been going through a huge lawsuit for the better part of almost going on 2 years. I thought it was going to get a lot uglier, but Epic got a big win. So Epic versus Apple ruling has been revealed. Apple must allow App Store devs to redirect users to other payment systems. So no longer is Apple forcing them to use the App Store and get a 30% cut. As a result of this, this is humongous, especially as somebody who personally has experience developing an app that we had to deal with Apple and had to abide by their payment rules and stuff like that. This is humongous. So continuing on, this says just over 3 months after the conclusion of the trial, Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers has handed down her ruling in the Apple versus Epic Games case. Judge Rogers has issued a permanent injunction saying that Apple could no longer forbid developers from directing users to third-party payment options. The ruling from Judge Rogers comes after Apple has already announced a handful of App Store changes over the past week, including allowing developers of Reader applications to link out to a website for account management. Those changes by themselves aren't enough to satisfy the new ruling from Judge Rogers, however. So this ruling is huge. It says Apple Inc. and its officers, agents, servants, employees, and any person in active concert or participation with them, being Apple, are hereby permanently restrained and enjoined from prohibiting developers from including in their apps and their metadata buttons, external links, and other calls to action that direct customers to purchasing mechanisms in addition to in-app purchasing and communicating with customers through points of contact obtained voluntarily from customers through account registration within the app. So this injunction is set to go in effect in 90 days. As written, this means Apple must allow developers of all applications, not just reader applications, to link out to third-party payment solutions. Most notably, this includes the highly lucrative games category. So now game developers could send people to their websites directly. They no longer have to use Apple as the middle man. It was kind of declared that Apple's just anti-competitive with their, their policies and stuff. So this put a big FU in Apple's app store policies. So they did rule in favor of Apple that Epic did breach its App Store contract when it circumvented Apple to add a direct payment option to Fortnite for iOS. So they do have to pay damages. So Epic Games shall pay damages in an amount equal to 30% of the $12,167,719 in revenue that they collected from users and the Fortnite app on iOS through the Epic Direct payment between August and October 2020. And 30% of any such revenue that they collected from November 1st to the date of judgment and interest. So they do have to pay Apple damages as well. And they didn't support that Epic did not support the claims that Epic made that Apple is a monopolist. So there was a huge development of this. I'm gonna, just look this up. That alone, with Apple being forced to not require developers to go through their store, is a huge game changer. It's a lot to take in. This court case, the result of it, is going to make a lot of changes. This could even affect the PlayStation Store, the eShop, the Microsoft Store. It can affect the Epic Game Store. It can affect the Steam Store. This is huge. The repercussions of the result of this could definitely cause a huge change and shock the system. But that's it for the news today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on anything down below. Again, hopefully you guys are enjoying the longer form format. Click that like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. I will see you guys very soon. Thank you so much as always for watching. Peace out.